If you become a data engineer, most of your work will start with one simple question: where is the data coming from? And in real companies, the answer is almost never just one place. Some data comes from application databases, some comes from files, some comes from APIs, event streams, logs, third party tools, or even devices sending readings every few seconds. So, in this video, we'll go through the top data sources data engineers commonly work with. For each one, we'll look at what kind of data it gives you, where you usually see it, and what can go wrong if you don't handle it carefully. Because in data engineering, the pipeline does not start when you write code. It starts when you understand the source. The first and most common source is the application database. This is the database used by the actual product. If you are working with an online learning platform, this database may store users, courses, enrollments, quiz attempts, payments, and certificates. If you are working with an online store, it may store customers, products, orders, and refunds. Most teams use databases like PostgreSQL, MySQL, SQL Server, Oracle, MongoDB, or similar systems for this. As a data engineer, you may need to extract this data into a warehouse or lake so the business can build dashboards and reports. The tricky part is that application databases are built for the app first, not for analytics. So you need to be careful with schema changes, deleted records, updated rows, and heavy queries that might slow down the production system. Another common source is files. This may sound simple, but files show up everywhere in data engineering. A partner may send a CSV file every night. A product team may export JSON files. A data platform may store Parquet files in object storage. A user may upload PDFs, images, or videos. Large files are usually stored in systems like Amazon S3, Google Cloud Storage, or Azure Blob Storage. The problems with files are usually boring but very real. One day the file arrives late, another day the column order changes. Sometimes the file name changes, or the date format changes, or an empty file gets uploaded by mistake. If your pipeline expects the file to be perfect every time, it will break. So file-based pipelines need checks for missing files, wrong formats, duplicate files, and late arrivals. The third source is third-party APIs. Most companies use external tools for payments, marketing, customer support, analytics, sales, and subscriptions. For example, a company may use Stripe or PayPal for payments, Salesforce or HubSpot for sales, Zendesk for support, Shopify for commerce, and Google Analytics for product behavior. Each of these tools owns useful data, and the data team often needs to bring it into one central place. APIs look easy at first because you call an endpoint and get data back, but real API work can get messy. The API may limit how many requests you can make. It may return data in pages. It may fail halfway through a job. A field may disappear without warning. Sometimes the API gives you only recent data unless you use a different export method. That is why API ingestion usually needs logs, validation, and a way to continue from where the last successful request stopped. The fourth source is event streams. Events are records of things that happened. A user signed up, a video started, an order was placed, a payment completed, a button was clicked, or a delivery driver changed location. These events are often sent through systems like Kafka, RabbitMQ, Amazon Kinesis, Amazon SQS, Google PubSub, or Azure Event Hubs. Event streams are powerful because they let systems react quickly, but they also come with problems that beginners often underestimate. Events may arrive late, out of order, or more than once. Many systems use at least once delivery, which means the system tries hard to deliver every event, but duplicates can happen. So your pipeline should be idempotent, meaning if the same event is processed twice, the final result should still be correct. Without that, one duplicate payment event or duplicate quiz event can quietly damage your data. The fifth source is logs and telemetry. Logs are records that systems leave behind while they run. They can tell you when a request came in, how long it took, whether it failed, and what error happened. Telemetry is a broader word for system behavior data, including metrics and traces. Metrics might track CPU usage, memory usage, request count, or error rate. Traces help follow a request as it moves through different services. Data engineers may collect this data from tools like CloudWatch, Datadog, Prometheus, OpenTelemetry, Splunk, or the logging systems built into cloud platforms. This data is useful for monitoring, debugging, and sometimes analytics, but it can be very high volume and very noisy. Logs also change format easily when developers update code. So if you depend on logs as a source, you need to be ready for inconsistent fields, missing values, and a lot of useless data mixed with useful signals. The sixth source is devices and IoT systems. IoT means Internet of Things, which usually refers to physical devices connected to the Internet. These could be sensors in factories, GPS devices in vehicles, smart meters, medical devices, or machines sending status readings. This kind of data often arrives continuously and may be time based. The challenge here is reliability. Devices can go offline, networks can drop, readings can arrive late or out of order. Sometimes a device sends the same reading twice, and sometimes it sends nothing for hours. So, when working with device data, you need to think about missing readings, duplicate readings, timestamps, and how to handle gaps in the data. The seventh source is the one that people do not talk about enough: manual business files. Even in modern companies, a lot of important data still arrives through spreadsheets and exports. A finance team may upload monthly targets. A sales team may share account mappings. A partner may send a weekly Excel file. Someone may put a CSV in a shared folder and expect the data pipeline to pick it up. This data can be valuable, but it is also risky because humans create it manually. A column may be renamed. Someone may type a date in a different format. A value may have extra spaces. A file may contain duplicate rows. So, for manual files, validation is not optional. You need checks before the data enters the main pipeline, otherwise, one small spreadsheet mistake can show up in a company dashboard. So, these are the top data sources data engineers commonly work with: application databases, files and object storage, third party APIs, event streams, logs and telemetry, devices, and manual business files. Each source has a different shape, speed, and failure pattern. A database may change schema, a file may arrive late, an API may fail halfway, an event stream may send duplicates, a log may change format, a device may go offline, a spreadsheet may have human errors. This is why understanding the source is one of the most important skills in data engineering. Once you know where the data comes from and how it can fail, you can design better pipelines, better checks, and better recovery. The tools matter, but the source comes first. Data engineering starts here.